Okay, I'm way more prepared for this one. The 49ers draft Upton Stout of Western Kentucky. Safety, cornerback, whatever he is. Let's talk about it. Welcome, everybody. Let's go, Niners. My name is Jason Aponte. I'm Jason Aponte. This is an instant reaction. The 49ers choose Upton Stout from Western Kentucky with pick 100. And if you're wondering what the theme of this 49ers draft is, it's run defense and tackling. And this young man is 5'9", which can make you nervous, but I think he's much more suited to play corner, slot corner, to be honest. But I did do research on him, and he's actually someone who will get his helmet dirty in run defense. Let me explain. Run defense, 2024, 90.9 PFF grade, 633 total snaps, career high at Western Kentucky, 362 snaps in run defense, 234 in coverage. The year before, 2023, 84.3 run defense. Missed tackle percentage, 7.9%, 8.3%. The last 2 years. Shh, Everly, please. I wanted Kobe Bryant, but I completely understand this pick. Completely. So what it means is Diamador Lenore will stick outside. Ronaldo Green will stick outside. And your new slot corner is Upton Stout. I had a feeling it was corner as well too, Daniel. Jed York's been tipping the picks. And he said small but has heart. To me, that felt like Kobe Bryant because he is a slot guy. Everly, turn it down. But it's Upton Stout. And I love corners. I love watching corners, so I've watched a bunch of them. This one I'm much more prepared for. I'm coming around to the pick before, and I'm going to have Rich Madrid on in a little bit or whatever, and he's going to tell me why I'm an idiot and why I don't watch the tape and all that stuff. But I really like this pick. I think of the 4 picks, 3 of them I'm very confident in. The 4th one, I'm still indifferent, but I'm feeling much better about. But talking about Stout, essentially as a slot corner, you have to be a linebacker. You have to be able to stop the run just in case. You may be in there in some short area situations, short yardage. Stout's little, but he has heart. And he's athletic. And let's talk about coverage, because that's what you want to hear from the corner, right? 78.3 coverage grade, back-to-back years in 2023 and 2024. And 2022, 80.9 coverage grade. 2022, he took a career-high 321 coverage snaps. 203 coverage snaps the year after, 234 the year after that. But he allowed 12 catches in 2024, 17 in 2023, 20 in 2022, and that's on limited targets. 35 targets in 2022, 30 targets in 2023. Everly, 17 targets in 2024. Coverage grades, 78.3, 78.3, 80.9. I love this pick. I love this pick. I think it fits, again, attitude. Everything that the 49ers, I saw John Lynch call, I believe, one of the guys, and I don't know if it was Nick Martin or one of them. He just said, you play the way that we play. He plays the way that they play. And it's good. I love it. You can move him all around the field. I think everyone's going to be hung up on his size, but he has that proverbial dog in him. I like this pick a lot. The last video about Nick Martin, I was indifferent because I admittedly didn't know. And I want to be upfront with you guys when I don't know. I know about this one. I'm really excited about this one. I like this one a lot. And he can move around down in the slot, maybe up at safety, right? Like he can do all those things. And I love this. I love this comp right here. Jimmy Ward, you know, Jimmy Ward, safety, slot corner. Hey, really turn it down. Same thing. I love this. I love this pick. Right now, the 49ers are 3 of 4 absolute hits, in my opinion. The fourth one is up in the air, and a lot of people are excited. So, depending on where you're sitting, the 49ers are 4 for 4 on defense. So, this is a great draft so far. This is a Robert Saleh draft. That's the thing. Run defense is bad? Cool. We're going to shore that up. I like this draft. Sure, I wanted Jalen Noel at 75. Maybe you could have had Nick Martin a little bit later. But if the player's good, it doesn't matter where you get him. Right now, value is king. When you're talking about where picks are and, you know, where you should be taking guys, nobody remembers who you passed on if the player is really good and hits. Nobody remembers that. You know why? Because all those other teams passed on that player, and you look like the genius. So we're hung up right now on value. We're hung up on who we could get. And good players are good players. I love this pick. I admittedly wanted Kobe Bryant, for sure. But I like this pick a lot. I think the 49ers defense is in such good shape after an offseason where we were completely worried. Because if Nick Martin doesn't pan out, D. Winters is still there. And I wouldn't be opposed to you drafting Teddy Buchanan at the end of the draft as well, too. I wouldn't. I don't care if that means that Tatum Batum has to leave. I don't care about that. Or Curtis Robinson has to leave. I don't care about that. Draft good players. The cream rises to the top, right? So it doesn't put you out of having another linebacker come in. I 100% think that the 49ers are now, 4 picks in? They've got 7 left. 4 are going to be more on defense. 4. I think they draft a safety. I think they draft another linebacker. I think it's Teddy. I think they draft developmental, raw prospects on the defensive line. And they'll probably throw in, they got to take a running back, right? Like, you can't keep Kyle Shanahan away from the war room right now, for taking a running back. But his defense is in such better shape. And the offense was something that we're not necessarily worried about. Christian McCaffrey's all systems go. Isaac Guerrero showed flashes. He's a good player, I think. George Kittle's still the best tight end in football. Jawan Jennings showed out last year. Should have had 1,000 yards. Ricky Pearsall improved. You feel good about this. DeMarcus Robinson. You feel good about this. You feel good about this offense. The offense, if they're going to add anything, it needs to be linemen. It needs to be linemen. And, a weapon. I would take a running back, a wide receiver, maybe Jackson Hawes, something like that. Hey, really, please. Shh. I would take any of those things. But I still think it's defense. And I still think that this is what this draft is. Woody Marks in the 5th. Trevor Etienne later on. They got to give me one of my guys. But I love this pick. Upton Stout, slot corner, flexible, can play safety, dog in the run game. I understand the size and everything as well, too. Here we go. Hi, Rich. Hold on, you're on mute.
Hey, can you hear me?
You're good. So Rich, I was explaining because I admittedly was not informed about Nick Martin. So I guess my initial reaction was disappointment only because it's really indifference because I don't know much about the young man. I don't have a strong opinion either way, but I have a strong opinion about Upton Stout. I love this pick. What do you think about him?
I don't know anything about
the
him. Last 3 picks today.
So you don't know Nick Martin either because everybody's just saying that he's Drake Greenlaw.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Everyone keeps thinking they're just trying to replace the guy ahead of the guy before them. I don't know. I don't think that's necessarily the case. I mean, maybe they are. Maybe they have a type, but
so let's do this.
Who is Stout? Like, who are they trying to replace with Stout?
Jimmy Ward, and that's Robert Saleh. Like Robert Saleh's trying to get the. Yeah. But he's trying to get the band back together from 2019, like all together, and he's replacing them with players that he feels have similar traits. I think that's what I've taken away with the first 4 picks.
Yeah, so I mean, they certainly have a type. Yeah, they certainly have a type.
So look. So Robert Saleh says, I'm coming back, and everyone says, God, thank God, because we need a defensive coordinator so badly, and we're tired of this. And Robert Saleh says, but if I come back, I'm running the show. I'm running the show. Like I'm gonna pick and I'm gonna choose, and you're gonna have to get in the like. We just finished 2 days, and Kyle Shanahan didn't take a running back.
Yeah. Or he got through the 3rd round without taking one.
He got through the 3rd round without taking a kicker or a running back. This is how you know, like it's literally like they've locked him out of the room. But run stuffing, defensive tackle feels like DJ Jones type. Michael feels like speed rusher type off the edge. Like that's kind of like again, Saleh said, you're clearly desperate for me to come back. And the 49ers said, we're not going to find a better defensive coordinator than him. He could ask for anything in the world. Like, he could have asked for a private jet at this point. But all of this just feels like Robert Saleh's doing.
Yeah, for sure. Like, if he was going to come back, he's going to want to have a big say in at least some of the high picks, right? And that all 4 have been defense. So, I mean, I get that. And Kyle's probably like, yeah, sure, whatever. Pick your guys.
My question is this, Rich, and I think a lot of people are worried about, Robert Saleh joining and then leaving, but you're like putting your fingerprints all over this draft. Doesn't it make it seem like you're not here for just a 1-year stint? Even though I think the 49ers defense is going to perform well this year, and he's sure to get more interviews. He got interviews this offseason as well, too. But he has a big impact with how this defense is going to go. So let's just say there's a world where he leaves in the first year and someone else is trying to engineer his blueprint. Will it be as successful without the mastermind behind it?
Well, it was the first time. It depends who they groom for. I mean, he might not want to do that.
KJ Wright?
So
Gus Bradley?
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. It does feel like
he's with them now.
Right. Like it feels like there is a world where there is Saleh kind of keeping the seat warm and he's just waiting for his next opportunity to become a head coach. And there's no doubt going to be teams that are going to line up to talk, to him about that. And Gus Bradley could be somebody who steps in because I don't know if people are going to be lining up right away, especially in this role for him to be a defensive coordinator, or it could just be KJ Wright as it was when he passed this off to D'Amico. So I don't know.
It's certainly possible.
Yeah, for me, it just looks like right now there's like a plan in place just in case he leaves, because you're doing all of these things and bringing in all these youngsters, and you're a part of you're the architect, but you may not be here to complete the vision like in the next year. And if the 49ers defense is good, which I believe it will be, then he may move. Let's see. Dilo Fiasco says, what if Saleh stays like Spagnuolo?
Yeah, I think the assumption is that he's going to turn the defense around again and leave after a year. I don't think that's necessarily true.
Well, I think it's because he got so many interviews this year. When it comes to the offseason and everything, and I think a lot of people don't put the Jets' misery on him; they just put it on the Jets just being the Jets. I think he skates by that.
Well, it clearly wasn't on him. I mean,
right? The defense went into the shitter when he left. Right. So, it is a little bit of that, but I mean, I think ultimately, D'Lo, he wants to be a head coach. I think ultimately a lot of teams are going to jump at the chance to have him be the head coach because he is a leader of men. I would run through a wall for Robert Saleh. Like, he just seems like one of those guys. Averly, turn it down. So I again, getting off topic a little bit, it's just with all these picks and everything, right? So you know what? Here's what we'll do. Give me your assessments about Alfred Collins and Mykel Williams. Let's do that.
I haven't really had a chance to get into Collins. But Williams was somebody I watched some of these guys pre-draft for the Packers and had some stuff up on them. Not Williams specifically, but a lot of the guys I like for this team also had top 30 visits with both teams. So Williams was a guy that I really liked. Probably at pick 11 or later. I think he would have been my first choice. It was Will Johnson, but I didn't know that Johnson has those knee issues or whatever. So Williams was great. I think, you see a guy that looks kind of like maybe fits part of the Eric Armstead mold, but maybe can also rush from the edge a little bit. I think he's tough. He's strong.
I was going to ask you about
some guys in the interior, and I think that's where they're probably going to play him a lot this year.
I was going to ask you about the Aldon Smith comparison. Push back on that for me.
It's not even the same type of player. Aldon was just more fluid, more athletic. He had pass rushing moves. Williams doesn't necessarily have that in his game. He's more of a big, strong athlete. But he's definitely not Aldon. They're just not even remotely the same player.
I think that comes from the flashes that you see on tape of him with his lengthy arms pushing someone away. Because you know what's crazy is you look at
even then, like he's
good.
He still looks a little. He's not as fluid as Aldon was athletically. You can definitely see the difference.
I think what it is when you see him on tape and you see him able to shed a blocker with that ease and that arm length, and it's crazy because his wingspan is so big, and yet Aldon Smith's arms were an inch longer somehow. That doesn't even make sense. I think that's what people are looking at, right? And then, if you slap that 99 on his back, then, everyone's just going to automatically just make those assumptions off the bat.
Yeah, then he's not going to play like that the first year, and people are going to be really disappointed.
Oh, hell yeah. We got rich Madrid fans in the chat. Oh, my guy, Rich. All right. Let's talk about the wide nine scheme, because I think a lot of it has to do with, obviously the defensive tackles eating up space and allowing the edge rushers to not only set the edge, but get those one-on-one opportunities. Do you feel like the 49ers have addressed their needs with the players that they have in this scheme that they just seem tied to 100%?
Yeah, I think Williams is going to be that guy that if it's a wide 9 or they stay a wide 9 can actually be that wall on the edge. Like that's a lot of these teams like D'Amico's defense and they got gashed with those wide defensive ends, especially in the playoffs, because they don't have big guys out there that can set the edge. I mean, like, yeah, you need a speedy pass rusher like Bosa, but on the other side, he's got to have a guy that's like a true anchor that can basically hold that side. And I think that's what Williams is.
Okay. This is a little off topic with 49ers, but we're going into day 3 and Shedeur Sanders hasn't been drafted. I admittedly, I didn't deep dive into quarterbacks because the 49ers don't need a quarterback. And the quarterback that they're going to take is Curtis Rourke at the back end of the draft. Like that's just like, somebody like that. But can you like explain to me like what is going on? Because like the idea that Dylan Gabriel and Jalen Milroe go ahead of him, even for me who wasn't even necessarily high on Shedeur, that feels a little disrespectful.
I don't think Shedeur's any good.
Oh, really? Keep going.
I've never liked what I've seen with him in his college tape. Watching the games live or whatever, and the little bit in the offseason, it's just not. I just don't think he's that good. And then you've added in all that extra baggage with his dad, like the fiasco with them retiring his number.
There you go.
I just don't. Yeah, I mean that's exactly right. I don't think anyone wants to deal with that. Like I saw a quote the other day from an anonymous coach, and take these for what you will, but
right,
basically said he was the most arrogant player they've ever talked with or interviewed. Like that matters, I'm sure there's some truth to that.
Mm-hmm.
And then nobody wants to deal with it.
Right.
And it's just going to get worse the further he drops down because whoever picks him is going to have to deal with Dion
and he's going to have a chip on his shoulder too because of how far he fell too. So like, he's going to be vocal about being angry about, where he was drafted.
Yeah. And now you get into a situation where like, say he is the backup somewhere. He winds up as a backup. Now you got all the reporters huddling around him, looking for comments on why the team sucks and stinks and the offense is terrible with whatever team he goes to. And nobody wants to deal with that. I didn't think he was. I didn't think he was very good. And everybody's saying, "Oh, that 49ers needed to draft him and trade Brock away or whatever." Like,
no, don't trade Brock away. But it's a value pick now at this point.
Trading Brock away for a less talented, less athletic quarterback.
I'll tell you this, and yeah, you know what? I'm feeling it enough that I can say it. If he's there with the 49ers' last pick, and it's between him and Curtis Rourke, I'm taking a shot on Shedeur.
I wouldn't have touched any quarterback in this draft in the first round outside of Cam Ward. This whole class is terrible.
I think this class is trash. I'm talking about, and I think the sleeper is like Kyle McCord from Syracuse.
Yes, that if I was picking a quarterback, in the mid rounds, it would be him.
Kyle McCord is the guy that I look at like right there, like that could be somebody that we're just going to be like, oh, damn, nobody saw it or whatever. But I'm just saying, if you're taking a shot on a guy with the last pick, 252, whatever it is, like the last pick that they got, I know Curtis Rourke profiles like a Kyle Shanahan quarterback, but if Shedeur Sanders is there, I mean, I don't mind them doing that. I just feel like there's a little bit more, but if he ends up undrafted, this is one of the craziest stories in draft history, in my opinion. I know it's not your opinion because you don't think he's good.
It is kind of, I mean, it is kind of unbelievable though that nobody desperate enough even wants to take a chance.
The Cleveland Browns, the king of terrible decisions, right? They've passed on him like 4 and 5 times. The New York Jets, the king of terrible decisions. The Raiders, the king of terrible decisions. All these teams have passed on him. All of them. That's just like, for me, there's too many teams and organizations with so many bad decisions on their track record that are known for that are even saying, yeah, I'm good. We're good. I don't know, man. That to me is a little insulting. You know, Dylan Gabriel, I'm not big on him. Like, he's fine. Yeah, like, exactly. Like, you see your face? You see your face? Like, I'm good. That felt like a slap in the face.
I mean, the Giants were so desperate they traded up for Jackson Dart, who should have been like a day 3. That's so much they didn't want to take a chance on Shedeur.
And that's crazy because they did the most work on him. Because I live out here, you know, obviously I live here or whatever. They did the most work on him. And man, I mean, again, it's not our problem. I just wanted to divert from, you know, the 49ers talk. It's not our problem because, you know, we got our guy. And that's it. But it is still just an interesting discussion, you know, overall. You know, again, like, I wasn't big on him. I wasn't, you know, telling anybody to go get him. But he's better than Dylan Gabriel, I think. He's better than Jalen Milroe. Okay. So Jalen Milroe, I kind of see the vision, and it pisses me off that it has to be in Seattle because I could see them running like that Jalen Hurts offense with him where like everything is just like him and Kenneth Walker and, you know, QB power and, you know, QB bash, all that shit. And he has like 1 or 2 shot plays. But he was so bad at the Senior Bowl and one-on-ones. Like, even just like throwing the football to guys that were like the ball is in the stands. And I'm watching and I'm like, well, I charted it for a wide receiver. Hey, he won that rep. But my God, the ball was never even close. Like, I don't get that part.
He looked like Wild Thing from Major League, right?
Dude. It's just like I'm watching the wide receiver out of the break on one-on-one, and I'm like, oh, he won the rep. And then the ball is in the stands. And I'm like, oh, no.
He just needs glasses.
Yeah. Oh, my God. I just, like, that's the part that, like, one thing about Shedeur is the ball is accurate in short areas. He may not have the deep ball power, but it's accurate. It's in the area it needs to be. And it's just, you know, again, it's not the 49ers problem, like, at all. Like, it's not the 49ers problem. But Jalen Milroe and Dylan Gabriel going ahead of him, that feels disrespectful. But, Rich, I know you got to get out of here, man. Tell everybody what you're working on with, you know, everything that you got going on. And then, you know, I'll take it from here.
Mostly right now, I'm going to be putting some stuff out on the Niners draft picks. A lot of the Packers ones we had already had written profiles on. So I'd probably not much there. We'll see who they pick tomorrow, but definitely going to try to have something out on most of the 49ers picks within the next couple of weeks.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you again, Rich. Thank you for joining. I always like when I discuss with somebody else because, man, that last video with Nick Martin was me just being like, I'm completely indifferent to this pick because I don't know. Like, I don't have a strong opinion either way or whatever. And look,
I'd rather just watch the tape and see it on my own and see what's there. So,
and before you go, JKBG has a good comment for you.
Yeah, I saw that.
All right, Rich. Thank you so much, man. Get your little ones to sleep, man, and I'll take it from here. Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, thanks, man.
All right, man.
Bye.
That's Rich Madrid. The guy who tells me I need to watch more tape. 100%. You know, again, such a good guy offline. Like, you guys don't judge him off of that. But I want to ask you guys, and you know, we're about 30 minutes in, chat. Again, thank you guys for joining. Please just drop a like on this video. That helps me out so much. I want your grade for the 49ers first 4 picks. We're through 3 rounds. What's your grade in the chat, right? Guys, A to F, whatever it is, you know, and we'll go through it and we'll discuss. If you want to leave some context to why you've led yourself that way, that's fine. Let's see. We got a B from Ariel. We got a B+ from Kensa. We got a C- from Gojira. I think I'm leaning a little bit more to B. Like, I'm leaning towards B. And the reason that I'm leaning towards B is because I like 3 of the picks, and one of them I'm just indifferent on. Like, I just need to do more research on. And that's it. Like, that's why I don't have a strong opinion one way or another. JD says B+. I have B right now. And B is great, because we have to figure out, where these players are and what a hit is on a spectrum, more than anything. Michael Martinez says C. Vish says B+. All good. Nick is maybe B, but Upton is a good nickel. Agreed. I love the Upton Stout pick. I love it. I'm gonna be completely upfront with you and honest. I was indifferent to the Nick Martin pick just because I didn't do much research on him, so I can't give you a strong opinion one way or another. I'd rather tell you I don't know than make up something and look silly. Yeah, I was a little disappointed because my player was on the board at 75, but that doesn't mean that the player that they selected was bad because of that. And again, who gives a shit what I think, more than anything. But I've got it as a B. I've got the first pick, Mike Hill as an A-. I've got Alfred Collins as a B+. I have an incomplete on Nick Martin because I've got to do more research. And I've got a B+ on this one right here for Upton Stout. But this is clear that it's a Robert Saleh draft, and it's about defense, and it's about shoring up the run defense. And, we've talked about it in the other videos. You can't rush the passer until you can defend the run. So I've got it as a B right now. And B is good. B is good. B is really good. Now, the 49ers have 7 picks tomorrow. It starts at 9 a.m. West Coast time for many of you guys, noon for me. 7 picks. I think that's really going to be where you figure out where this draft grade is going to be and what this class is going to be. 7 more picks. That's a lot. The 49ers have a chance to do anything they want. Move up. I mean, obviously, you don't want to take more picks because I don't even know if you can fit 11 on the 53 right now. Especially considering your first 2 are day 1 starters. But the 49ers have 7 more picks tomorrow, and that's going to be ultimately where we figure this out. But I will say 3 of the 4 picks I am very much on board with. I have an incomplete on Nick Martin. That's all. I'm indifferent. I don't have a strong opinion either way. I'm going to keep saying that. Just in case anybody wants to say, oh, you hated the pick. I was just disappointed because my guy was on the board, Jalen Noel. And by the way, the Houston Texans drafted Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel. That's really neat. They have a really good wide receiver room moving forward, even though Tank Dell's not going to play this year. So it'll be Nico Collins, Jaden Higgins, and Jalen Noel. That's cool. I'd like to have, a lot of good wide receivers. But I'm just a wide receiver guy. And that's really where I'm at, like when it comes to like things like that. Kyle Williams left six picks before the 49ers could draft him to the New England Patriots. By the way, the New England Patriots smashing their draft. New England Patriots are ready. But 7 more. It's time for some O-linemen. Jalen Rivers from Miami. Left tackle. Gimme. I will take it. I think the 49ers are in a position where both tackles are going to leave one way or another. Trent Williams is going to retire. Colton McKivitz is going to get overpaid. I think that's a little bit. Noted 49ers fan, Andres Diaz, F+ draft, fire Lynch. Man, that is excellent. That's excellent, my friend. Excellent work. CJ West of Indiana at defensive tackle. I don't think the 49ers have done an edge at all either. Ingram Dawkins from Georgia. I'd love to take a chance on him on the back end as well. I've told you many times, Ricky White at wide receiver is one of my better last round picks from UNLV. Also a special teamer, blocked 4 punts. Oh my God, man. Ugh. But yes, I think the 49ers have 7 more picks. We're going to figure out what this draft class is. Again, I have an incomplete on Nick Martin because I haven't done my homework. That's on me. But I love 3 of the 4 picks, and the 49ers run defense is already better. Yeah, hell yeah, Michael. Get his ass. Own that 49ers fan. David Walker. Love it. pass rusher, situational pass rusher. And what I mean by that is it doesn't mean that Michael Williams will be some sort of part-time guy. Is you can get creative, have him stand up over a guard, and then you bring David Walker off the edge. Like this is the overarching theme that I've gotten, I think, from this draft. Robert Saleh's defense in 2019, and I've said this a few times, was going to be rush 4 and drop everyone else. Now it's going to be, we can bring you in a bunch of ways. And the one thing I do know about Nick Martin is that he was used very well as a pass rusher from linebacker. So I do expect Robert Saleh to be a little bit more exotic now. It's not going to be, look, there's no way to duplicate the 4 of Bosa, Armstead, Buckner, Ford. You can't. Because that star power alone, you can just rush 4 and just drop everyone else. I don't know if that will translate, because I don't think the 49ers have that much talent across the line anymore. But Robert Saleh's scheme has evolved to the point where he understands that if we show ourselves up, and I think that's what the Upton Stout pick is about, is if we show ourselves up on the back end with a slot corner, 2 outside corners, and we feel good with our safeties, then we can be a little bit more exotic. And Nick Martin can blitz a little bit more if he does play. And we can send different stunts and different sort of ways that we can do this. So this draft is about Robert Saleh. This draft is about Robert Saleh's plan. This draft is about Robert Saleh's vision. And I feel good about that, because they're already shoring up the one thing that they had was a huge issue. It was obviously run defense. And then when you're down so many pass rushes, you lose Javon Hargrave, and Malik Collins is fine, but I think we need to do a little bit more. But we are right now in a spot where we're looking at this and we're watching the 49ers kind of just go by Robert Saleh's plan. And we're going to watch him evolve this scheme from just rushing 4 and dropping everyone to knowing that he has players on the back end that can hold him down, and he can evolve his scheme in different ways. And that's exactly what he told Fred Warner. So I feel great about this, because I think going into this draft, we felt like the 49ers offense is going to be fine. Brock Purdy, George Kittle, Juwan Jennings, Brandon Ayuk's going to be back eventually. Ricky Pearsall, Christian McCaffrey, Isaac Guerrero. This offensive line, for everything that it's worth, and everyone wants to call it the worst in the world, it's a league average offensive line. Those are the facts. The offense is not the issue here. It was the defense. Even in let's even take it a step further. Even in the Tampa Bay game last year, the 49ers defense, they won it at the end, but man, did they make it really difficult, and I think that's where, if the 49ers defense even steps up a little bit, they probably win a few more games, i.e. the Seattle game. I know Nick Bosa left that game, but Nick Bosa leaving that game shouldn't make your defense not be anything anymore. So, and shout out to my boy Andre. Obviously, he was just trolling me. This is my guy in real life. The game is won in the trenches, and the Niners did a good job investing in the D-line. So yeah, I think, again, the 49ers defense is what lost them a lot of games. Now, special teams lost them a lot of games too, but the 49ers defense had a chance to choke off a lot of games and finish these games out, and they just didn't. And then you put that pressure back on the offense, and then when they don't come through, everybody's going to look at the offense and say, oh, well, you didn't do. But that should have never have come down to that. So, again, it's a give and take and all those things. Southpaw says, CMC is getting old. We're going to draft the running back? Oh, for sure. 7 picks tomorrow? You don't think one of them is going to be a running back? For sure. Absolutely. Let's think about the depth chart right now. Christian McCaffrey, Isaac Guerrero, Patrick Taylor, Izzy, whatever his name is. Yeah, there's somebody else that's coming. Gotta be. 100%. Charlene, I thought we were friends. The Moody pick aging worse every year. It was horrible when it happened. But, everybody just wanted to say, hey, Jay's crashing out and he's acting up. Which running back? DJ Giddens is still on the board. I think that's a perfect Shanahan running back from Kansas State. I love Damian Martinez, and I love Trevor Etienne. Those 3 guys, any of those guys would absolutely be fine. So, yeah, the 49ers absolutely had to draft a running back. Now, the good news is, or the bad news, really, depending on how you look at it, the third round running back meme is dead because he went 2 days without drafting a running back. But they absolutely have to, they absolutely have to draft a running back. Cali Chris O says, seems like Saleh was the one calling the shots yesterday and today. Saleh's calling all the shots. Bro came in and just took over. Intelligent AJ1, thank you for being a channel member. I appreciate you, bro. Way too many people jumping out the window with the negativity. I think we're a solid B right now. That's what I said with B. My boy Dree says, stay away from Martinez. For you guys that don't know, my guy Drees is a Dallas Cowboys fan. So he wants Damian Martinez for his Cowboys. I would rather draft him just to keep him away and make him a little bit more, But hey, it is what it is. Let's see. Callie says, Eagles punk the Chiefs with their defense, need to go back to their smash mouth ways. I think that's exactly what they're doing. Now, I will say this. I think Robert Saleh is looking for players with traits that will duplicate the 2019 defense that he oversaw before he was there 2019 and 2020. But unfortunately, again, we don't remember 2020 because of all the injuries. But I do think he's trying to duplicate the 2019 defense. And I want to at least give a little word of caution. The traits that you're chasing are for players that had the similar traits, but are they going to be the similar? Are they going to be the similar players? Yeah. Y'all got it. Y'all right. You're saying it for me. But it does seem like Robert Saleh is trying to duplicate the 2019 defense. And I understand. I just wonder if chasing traits from players who were similar, Jimmy Ward, DJ Jones, even Drake Greenlaw with Nick Martin is what everybody's apparently telling me. I wonder if that gets you into a little bit of trouble. Because you might have caught lightning in a bottle with those guys. And not everybody, just because they have traits, is the same. But again, that's a conversation for another day. I see the vision right now. I see the vision. And I see what he's trying to duplicate. And I see how he's trying to duplicate it with having a guy like Upton Stout feels more like K'Wan Williams than Jimmy Ward, in my opinion. If we're going to say it like that. And K'Wan was so good in the slot as a run defender, as a blitzer. Remember that, as a blitzer. Remember Saleh would dial it up and have K'Wan come off the nickel. That's what I think he's trying to duplicate now with Upton Stout. See, and this, Gojira, shout out to you, man. You're a channel member as well, too. Sounds like revenge tour mentality needs to not repeat the failures. I get nervous of something like that. But for better or worse, the 49ers have turned this whole thing over to Saleh and said, hey, listen, fix it. Make us great again. But I'm a little worried about that. I'm just a little worried about that. But I do think that the vision for Upton Stout is K'Wan Williams. Is somebody who is going to stick his nose in the run defense, play as an extra linebacker, can be in coverage, but also can blitz. I think that's exactly what they're thinking. And we all know K'Wan was very successful. Very successful when he was here. And he got the bag somewhere else and he left. But you know what? You let somebody else pay him. It's Robert Saleh trying to duplicate the 2019 49ers defense. And if he does, the new twist on it is going to be how he creates pressure, because the front four is not as formidable or lit with star power, right? You can't duplicate Armstead, Buckner, Bosa, Ford. You can't. That was it. That's what makes 2019 so frustrating for 49ers fans. It was right there. You're not going to be able to get there with four like the way that you did and whatever. We don't have to go down that road. But I do think the 49ers have turned this whole thing over to Robert Saleh, this draft. I love this Upton Stout pick. 3 of the 4 picks I'm in love with. The other one, I'm just incomplete on right now. That's it. That's all I am. I'm incomplete. But I see the vision. And the more I talk to people who I trust, They feel good about it. They've watched the tape. I haven't. So I will reserve judgment. I am indifferent, and I will make sure that I don't jump out the window one way or the other. So I just want to put that out there. Shout out to everybody in here. Over 100 people in here. Please, guys, all you have to do is drop a like on this video. All that does is help us so much, man. I appreciate everybody who's been watching all the videos the last 2 days. Tomorrow, I don't know if I'm going to be going pick after pick because the draft moves so fast. I may just do one big video at the end talking about everybody. You guys let me know if you want that to be that way, or if you want the single videos. But the single videos seem to be working. You guys have been tuned in all day today as well. It's 12:03 on the East Coast. I hear Averly in the other room. I'm tired. I know she needs to go to sleep. I'm probably not going to sleep, but I do need to do all those things. Ariel, shout out to the Mod Squad in here. Yeah, I'm going to get out of here, guys. I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. Again, drop a like on your way out. You know, tomorrow we'll break everything down. 7 more picks for the San Francisco 49ers. We're going to figure out what this draft class really is, and we'll give a final grade at the end of it all. Jason Aponte, I'm out of here. And as always, let's go fucking Niners. Peace. Welcome, everybody. Let's go Niners. My name is Jason Aponte.